trying to be all good. I'm not such a good boy. They're just trying to be such a good boy. Are you a good boy? Are you a good girl? Are you just a little good girl, huh? Just a little good boy? That's what they're fucking trying to do. That's what y'all bitches want to hear, don't you, huh? You're a good fucking boy, yeah? Mm-hmm. Well, hey everyone. Welcome back to Chime Me a River. I'm your host, Shane Lamba. And this is a podcast for the brown, the bisexual, the beautiful, the bodacious, the big girls. This is a podcast where we talk all things brown, bisexual, South Asian, Punjabi, Indian, just different. Like, just a different experience of what the norm is, right? And like, what's normal anyway? So if you're abnormal, then this podcast is for you. And if you like podcasts and you're here today, definitely subscribe, follow, and share the podcast. Whether that be my YouTube channel, my social media pages on Instagram, or following on Spotify or Apple, wherever you listen to podcasts, because I try my best to do a video, but I also have some audio, because I do know some people are audio individuals, some people are visual learners. So we want to educate the girls, the gays, and the days, because fuck straight men. Um, so last week I spoke quite a bit with a wonderful special guest, Joey Algier. So if you haven't caught that episode, you should definitely go catch that one, whether you listen to it or watch it. And I will preface, and just as a side note, since I was getting some questions about the episode, I ran into some technical difficulties as I was preparing the episode and recording the episode. So I do apologize for any of the awkward sound or sound bites that may have gotten deleted in the presence. I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and I'm very happy and fortunate that you all are here. So let us get into it. If today's episode is really going to be kind of honestly a reflection for the past couple of weeks. I feel like since we recorded the last episode and all the things that are just really happening right now in the world, it's pretty hard to actually like record something. It's pretty hard to put together something that seems really, engaging, palatable, exciting, and also fun. I feel like it's really hard to have fun nowadays. Person number one in the comments, if you are having a hard time having fun, let me know. Actually, anybody, let me know. Just it's hard having fun nowadays, right? So today's episode is actually really going to be a solo episode. Again, I'm teetering. I'm trying to bring guests on. I'm trying to do all that good stuff, all that good shenanigan shit. But I also know my bandwidth, and I also know what people enjoy. But I definitely, this is just easy. I can prop up my phone, prop up a stand, get the microphone, going, and, get my little cup of chai, which I did have chai today in my rainbow LGBT she cup. So
I want to dedicate today's video to the run-through dolls, honey. The girls who have been wrecked and destroyed. The girls who are loose, honey. The girls who are wide open. The hungry girls.
So cheers to that. So yeah, this episode is going to be a lot about just reflection, for the last couple of weeks. Some really fun stuff. Obviously, it was my birthday. So, shout out, happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear Mr. President. Actually, no, scratch that. Fuck the president. Happy birthday to Shane. Person number 4 in the comments. If you are an Aquarius, comment Aquarius, because it is Aquarius season. Let's talk about that actually before we get into like the actual shit that I have outlined, which is like 4 bullet points because that's how my brain works. Aquariuses. People are so people always have a bad rep about these Aquarius people. So let's do a little bit of sleuthing about what's an Aquarius. About what's an Aquarius. About an Aquarius. So the Aquarius is the 11th zodiac sign. It's an air sign. All my life, it's so funny. I actually thought it was a water sign because it's the water bearer, right? And we're known, we're known to be humanitarian, independent, sometimes like a little detached, sometimes a little like removed, a little like over it, just we're very in our heads, like everything is very in our head in the sense, but we're also very airheaded. I always like to say that. I'm a huge airhead, if you haven't caught that on by now in the podcast journey. I'm a big airhead, like big airhead, big girl airhead, big cock airhead.
She's really good.
But what's really interesting about the Aquarius people, my people,
Where my people at? Where my people?
first of all, I have family members who are also Aquarius, so that's like crazy in its sense because you also see the differences between the January Aquariuses and the Feb Aquariuses, right? I feel like the January Aquariuses don't really get the best rep because everyone's really just fucked up from like the last year. And what a year we have had since, 2025. But usually that's the case, right? Like everyone had so much plans, so many like things going on like from October, November, December, and then January comes. Something in my house is causing me to have an allergy and I don't know what it is. So I apologize for that blowing of the nose. But what I was saying is that usually at the end of the year, people are like super like tired, they're fatigued. And then January comes around and you're trying to plan your birthday and like everyone's like, I'm trying to save money. Oh, I don't drink anymore. Oh, I don't know. I'm trying to go to the gym all the time. Oh, yeah, yeah. Listen, bitch. You weren't going to the gym when you were on the broop app, when you were on the app, when you're on the Tinder swipe here, swipe there app, when you're on the Bumblebee Bussy Down app, okay? You weren't at the gym when you were at Five Guys getting, not the little hamburger. Because for those who don't know, if you've ever been to Five Guys, if you do yourself wrong and you get the hamburger, which, I know a lot of people are fat bitches, but and I'm one of those people. I do like to eat, but something about a Five Guys so the hamburger per se, the hamburger is actually two fat patties. I shouldn't say they're fat; they're pretty skinty. But the little cheeseburger is like just the normal burger, right? And then you can get all the shit that you want to put on top. I usually do the little bacon cheeseburger with onions. I tell them to grill the jalapenos. I like mayonnaise. I like a little bit of mustard, hot sauce, mushrooms, pickles, tomatoes, lots of lettuce, and I want that shit, good. And then I get the fries. I get them Cajun, right? Because then they put a little extra scoop in. But did you know that this is not a sponsored post, but shout out Five Guys. I go there like once a month because I have two sponsorships here. Could be present because I have an Amex card. I get those credits for Five Guys or Cheesecake Factory or whatever. So I just go to Five Guys because it's like an easy lunch. But did you know that you can get the little sandwich and then you can make it a combo, which you get a little small drink and a little fry, and it's only $5 more. So basically, you're getting like a full on meal for like $15 if you like Five Guys, right? If you like it. However, if you have the Amex Gold card or whatever card that I have, yeah, the gold one, you can actually get that like credited for $10. So you only paid $5 for a full on meal. Still cheaper than In-N-Out. Still cheaper than McDonald's. I mean, Gosh, McDonald's is like $9-10 for a meal, and the burger's like it's like some fat ass sat on it. It's like Hugo in the back over there, and fucking Jessica and like Marianne just like stomped on it with their fucking big Skechers no slip grip shoes. But I digress. Anyway, I don't know what I was trying to say about these Five Guys burgers, but essentially, um, that's how I like my burgers. But yeah, it's like your friends. They all say these things, and it's like, okay, well, I personally, I don't know if I should say that I do New Year's resolutions. I kind of do in a way. I kind of don't. I kind of do and I don't. So anyway, back to what I was trying to say about the birthday shenanigans. The birthday shenanigans, especially for us January babies, it's hard because everyone's like trying to be with nature. Everyone's just, trying to be all good. I'm not such a good boy. They're just trying to be such a good boy. Are you a good boy? Are you a good girl? Are you just a little good girl, huh? Just a little good boy? That's what they're fucking trying to do. That's what y'all bitches want to hear, don't you, huh? You're a good fucking boy, yeah? Mm-hmm. That's what you guys want. That's what you guys want. But they're not really good because, again, these resolutions, like, if I'm going to talk about my resolutions, let's get into it, even though I didn't think about what I wanted to do. But these resolutions that, one makes, let the elote truck go by. These resolutions. So, like, for me this year, I mean, one of my major resolutions, and I'm really, again, maybe this is a good place to actually state them out verbally, um, because people might have, a lot of the followers that I have are obviously queer, are obviously men. It would be nice to have some more queer women, but to each their own. Um, so hey, if you know a queer woman, if you know a bisexual woman, a lesbian woman, a gay woman, share this podcast with them. Share it. Share your favorite clip with them, or sorry, to them. Like share it to them. Like give it to them. Be like, hey, like you should go check out this really like rinky dinky guy that talks shit all the time. You talk a lot of shit. You might like this. But yeah. So I guess one of my resolutions for this year is to read more, like read books. So actually I'm almost done with this. I shouldn't say that I'm having to read it. But this is why they hate us. I don't know, my friend, a mutual, actually they're a online friend, an oomphy, which I didn't even know what the fuck that meant for a very long time. But my friend, mutual friend, Aaron, actually wrote this book. Yes, Aaron Aceves. He wrote this. So I actually am very excited because I do want to, shout out this book to him and to all y'all queers out there who wanted like a queer book to read. But this is actually a very cool story because it's essentially a kind of bi romance story, about a boy who lives in LA, and with one of his friends who's also like brown. So it's very cool because it's almost like two brown, you know, love romancy stories of two men, right? And one of those men is Salim Kanazi, which essentially is like South Asian person. So it's kind of cool like when you get to read a book like this. So I'm almost done with this. So Aaron, thank you for putting this out to the world, and for folks who want another book to read, this is Why They Hate Us by Aaron H. Aceves, and it's a beautiful color of the bisexual flag, if anyone noticed. So I definitely want to read more books. I definitely want to grow this podcast, which is why I'm trying to be more consistent with the podcast. I'm also trying to get more guests. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge to Aaron, who is obviously a SoCal local, born and raised LA native that he is. So definitely could probably most likely find a way to get a conversation with him. So, and I feel like I messaged this to him before. So, Aaron, if you're listening, I will be messaging you again. Um, another goal that I really want is to grow my career. Um, I want to grow. So that's 3, I guess. Read more books, grow this podcast. I have 100 or something followers right now, subscribers, or 100 plus technically on all the different social media, on all the different podcast streaming services like Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. I definitely would love to grow this podcast to 1,000 by the end of the year. I mean, I think on like all my platforms. I think that would be really cool. I think it's definitely doable. It just takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of reach. It takes a lot of creativity. It takes a lot of good boy. Um, but if you're listening and you enjoy it, if you're watching and you enjoy it, definitely share the podcast, because that would be great to be at 1,000 subscribers, or 1,000 followers, subscribers across the social media ecosystem. A fourth resolution, or not resolution, goal, I should say. Definitely, I really want to lose some weight this year. I know, people will be like, Shane, you don't need to lose weight, right? And I'm all for it, right? I love my body, right? I love my body. Sometimes I love my body a little bit too much, as I've been told by my parents, who were like, stop like posting like your chest all the time online. Like that's not nice, or something like that. My mom said that to me, and I was like, what do you mean not nice? Everyone loves my fucking chest. It's like how I have a following, because I'm not like anything else besides my chest. But I think I definitely like, I love my body, so I'm trying to be a body positive person. I love the way my body is, but for a very long time I did not like my body. Um, so I can flip the switch a little bit just for a second and give you a little anecdote. For a very long time I did not like my body. When you're 19, 18, 19, 20, you just start college, you move somewhere else, first of all, right? Um, and it's interesting because I actually really liked my body when I was a teenager. Obviously, I was in sports a lot. Um, so I was like lean and fit and whatnot. I was never like big, per se. I wouldn't think I was big. I've always been big in the sense I'm tall, right? Big and tall. But I was never really like big, like overweight or anything. Um, and I think, as people probably know this, who are my followings and friends and mutuals, who lift weights, who are going to the gym. Sometimes you put on a lot of muscle, you put on a lot of, different, I guess there's only muscle to put on. You either put on muscle or you put on fat. So you put on muscle, right? And your weight that you hop on the scale on is often a little bit higher than maybe you thought, right? You're like, those pants, fit me really well, but how come I'm still like 220? And it's because of your muscles, right? Your muscles sometimes weigh heavier than obviously the other stuff. So if you're gaining more muscle, you might be weighing a little bit more potentially ish, right? It's like plus or minus. But I think this year definitely would be like to lose, about 10 pounds, get back to my like 215, 210. I will say that last year caused a lot of stress for me, as it probably did for everybody. We lived in a very tumultuous, volatile world. It's even more volatile right now. But for me, I think a lot of the stress and the anxiety got to me from my career, professional life, of like, you know, not knowing if I'm gonna have a job, right? Because somebody in some big room on the East Coast thinks that the work that I do is not valuable, right? Or the topics that I focus on are not important, right? They're just a waste of time. They're, our favorite diversity, equity, and inclusion stuff, but it's not, right? Like, that's not the work that I do. So, a lot of that stress came down on me. I also feel like I had a lot of ups and downs. I had a lot of great euphoric things happen to me in 2025. I obviously started this podcast. I got to go to Coachella. I'm no longer, I became partnered. I have a boyfriend. I kind of grew myself in the sense of like really sticking to like my bisexual queer identity, my LGBTQ identity. And a lot of times I, flip flop between those terms. People have mentioned it to me. Are you queer? Are you bisexual or what? And I think the answer to that question is I can be whatever the fuck I want, right? Honestly, this is why they hate us. This is why they hate us because we're always so caught up in these like staunch labels. And I mean, I think labels are important. I do think in the sense that, and you're like, wait, didn't you just say you don't like labels, Shane? I think labels are important in the sense that they give us empowerment, right? We get to be like, oh, well, I'm gay, right? I'm a faggot. I'm queer. Like, I'm these people, right? I'm this, I'm that, I'm he, I'm she, I'm they, right? Whatever you want it to be. But the problem is that we can change those things, right? And that's like the first thing I actually learned when I started studying LGBTQ like people and like health stuff is that sexuality and gender are ever changing, right? They can change. They're transient. They model and they morph over time, right? And it's basically it should be pretty common sense, right? Because if you think about it, we're born and we're kind of adapting to these social norms, right? And we change those things as society progresses, as our families, our parents, our siblings, if we have any, our relatives, etc. They're all environmentally affect us because they're in our environment, they're in our circles, right? And we change our adaptations of how we act and what we do and how we become masculine, how we become feminine, how we become androgynous or in the middle, and those things I think are should be really key like indicators of like obviously like sexuality and gender expression etc can change over time, right? But when you're like young um and you don't know anything because you're just like you don't see anybody, right? You don't I'm looking across. You don't see anybody who looks like you. You don't see anybody who, unbuttons a shirt so his hairy chest pops out. You don't see anybody who is talking so openly about being bisexual, being Indian, being brown. You don't see those things, right? Like I think as mentioned last episode, the only representation that a lot of us millennials, basically us people born in the 90s, um, got in like our early childhood was like Glee, right? And I know that might be like, that's really stupid, Shane. Glee was a good show. Yeah, I mean, it was like for people who liked it, but like it was also the only representation, right? And who was in that show, right? Who was in that show? It was a bunch of obviously it was a diverse show. I shouldn't say it was like all white. But like the gay guy was white, right? Like many of the gay characters were white. Obviously, Naya Rivera was lesbian, bisexual, something, right? Brown, right? Brown black person. But and then Jane Lynch, we know is a lesbian in real life. So like that's cool that she like obviously got to play that kind of character. You see that character in that head, right? But like those are the things that I mean, right? Like that was really the only representation as a brown Indian person that we got to see, right? And then really we didn't get to see like what sexy meant, right? So that's why I like obviously have this and make this and talk about it because it's important and it's important to have representation, especially right now when people are trying to take it away because they're so insecure about themselves. I think we're so strong. This is my message to the LGBT community. I think we're so strong because we are so like we are so able to stand in our truth that it hurts people, right? It hurts people who are hurt, right? That saying, hurt people hurt people. Like when people are not happy within themselves, they're going to find a route to hurt you because they can't see themselves happy, right? They think and they look across the screens, they look in real life. Also, let's be fucking for real. Half of people's insecurities are because of these phones, these little boxes, these little 9-inch boxes. And, most of the time, 8 inches and 9 inches is not a bad thing. But in this case, this maybe little 8-inch thing, this 9-inch thing, is causing a lot of people's insecurities because sometimes in my mind, in my mastermind, I'm a mind of the master. I don't really think that a lot of these people would say things to people in person. However, that's what I thought. That's what I fucking thought. That's what I used to think. Maybe like what, shy 2 months ago. And then we clearly have seen this past month, in the past couple of weeks, that people are just nasty motherfuckers. You know? Like, they're nasty. Like, that's a nasty motherfucker. And I only have two people to blame: the parents and white Americans.
All right.
Now, that's a hot topic, Shane. It's a hot topic. I know. I should actually have gotten my little soapbox. Get me off my soapbox. But I could go off on for fucking 20 years about that shit. But I actually have I have a bone to pick with these bitches. My thing is, I never thought people would have that much hatred. And again, maybe it's a bubble. I live in a bubble. The girl in the bubble.
She's really good.
The big brown boy in the bubble. Person number 7 in the comments, if you like that song from Wicked for good, let me know, because that's like probably one of my favorite songs. It's not because I live in a bubble. I used to live in a bubble, but now I'm really like real. You know, I'm really like hardwood, like knocked on wood. I'm grounded. You know, I'm hard and grounded. But I think it's people, like, I just never thought that people could be that nasty and that mean. You know, like, people really need to change their shit, because people are outright being so discriminatory, racist, bigoted, xenophobic, rude, and mean.
Her interview was shit. Her look was shit. Her book cover was shit. Her trying to launch and sell her book to the judges was shit. She's shit.
Where do these feelings come from? Like, where do these things come from? Like, maybe you all need to go back to some other country. Has anyone ever thought about that? Has anyone fucking put their mind to that? Maybe if you fucking hate it here so much, maybe no, but if you really, like, that's my thing. Like, if you fucking hate it here, if you hate it here so much, then why don't you get fucking leave? Why are you telling people who are immigrants, who've migrated here, who have tried to become asylum seekers because they're literally being shred apart in their home countries? Newsflash, that's actually happening here. Hello? Yeah, newsflash, that actually fucking happens here. Our country is the shits right now. And there's only one person to blame. And y'all bitches know who's gonna blame. Who is to blame, you all know. But if you hate it here so much, why don't you leave? Why don't you go to Europe? Like, why don't you go? Just go. Do it. Like, leave. Why do you need it? Like, why would you? That's like one thing that I actually never understood is, like, you know, like when you're going through something in your life, like, let's just talk about friend drama, right? This is very, very simple. I'm a very simple man. You know, like, you're going through a friend drama, right? Let's say you have a friend and you just can't, you loathe them. You fucking hate them. Like, you know, they're just so mean. They're always doing like the most barbaric shit, and like such a bad person they are, right? Like, you hang out with them because you go out to have fun and whatnot, but then inside you know that they're just doing everything that should not be happening. So why would you continue to hang out with that person, right? Like, if you really logically just think, right? I mean, again, most Americans can't critically think. Most Americans can't read beyond the 6th grade level. So it makes sense why we're in this state of affairs. Most people search on Google and they just use that little first AI overview summary to prove their points. When it's like, you can use it to like glance at something, but you have to critically think and communicate within yourself. Now, what does that mean? Click on the link. Oh, what's that link? oh, that's just that's just a blog by, I don't know, Joel Ransberg. Who the fuck is Joel Randberg? Ran through Berg, right? Like, think logically before you accept everything as truth, because clearly you guys are listening to some mediocre orange man who's telling you all these things and you're following their truth, which is lies. But like, why would you put yourself in that position? If you knew, like, if I knew I didn't like a friend, I would not go hang out with that friend time and time again, right? It's just like, when you're drinking alcohol, oh, I can't drink whiskey on the same night that I drink tequila. I'm not going to now do that and like hurt myself. So why are you, if you're so hurt, baby, if you're so hurt, if you're so fucking hurt, why don't you just fucking leave? Do us the favor. Leave. Bitch, leave.
Don't come home with.
Oh, God. It's crazy out here, right? It's so crazy. I just can't get it. I don't get it. Yeah. That was my long-winded answer, which obviously probably stretched now for like almost 20 minutes, about my resolutions and my goals, right? So, obviously, lose some weight, read some more books, grow my podcast, grow my life professionally. Yeah, and maybe join a club. I want to join some sort of community event where I can see people in person. I don't want to be always doing this 8-inch, 9-inch thing that I got going on, it's always on. So it's like, I want to zoom in on something else, or zoom out, I should say, and like focus on something like in person, So if you're, in the Southern California, if you know anything in that SoCal area, of cool, queer, LGBTQ, artsy fartsy type of events or community events, let me know. Drop them in the comments section so other people can also know. Drop them in the DMs on Chimey River Pod on Instagram. Let me know, right? Like, I would love to know what is important. Also, at the same token, let me know about people who you think I should talk to. DM me. Feel free to DM me. Feel free to tag people like in videos that you think would like really benefit from hearing my schnapp, my little soapbox, and let me know, because I'm always looking to get a list of people, because sometimes you reach out, people are not free. Sometimes they don't want to do it. Let's take a break. We are back. So I wanted to do two things before I wrap this up, because I didn't want to make it too long. One of the things that I obviously wanted to do was get on my soapbox. Yeah, duh. Actually, one of them I had this idea for a while, and this is actually some Pokemon cards that I won. So, fun fact about me, I have never played any Pokemon cards. I have also never really watched Pokemon. All I know is Pikachu and Ash.
Where my people at? Where my people at?
Charmander. Is that a Pokemon? I know y'all bitches are going to get me for this. So I thought something that would be really fun, because it's, something fun. I didn't want to get all serious the whole time. Is to go through these Pokemon cards, and I'm going to give my little 2 cents of what they are. And if you know what they are, or what they stand for, what they mean, let me know so we can be educated. Because I'm about to probably make a fool of myself. But I got these from Jared Muro's market maybe a month ago that we went. Me and the boyfriend, and they were throwing them out, and we got some free ones. So I thought, let me go through them. So let me take these out, and I'm just gonna pick a couple and see what. I don't even know what they mean. I don't even know how you play them. Okay, let's do this. Okay, I got the Wacky. Can you see it? Okay, yes. The Wacky. It's stage 1, evolves from Grookey. Ability, Boom Boom Groove. Okay, I like that. Once during your turn, if your active Pokemon has the Festival Lead ability, you may search your deck for a card and put it in your hand. Then shuffle your deck. It says beat 50. Weakness with a fire thingy 2. The faster a thwackey can beat out a rhythm with its two sticks, the more respect it wins from its peers. Huh. Okay, so thwackey is basically all the faggots, right? The faster a thwackey can beat out a rhythm with its two sticks. No, girl. So thwackey is the trade. Thwackey is the trade of the Pokemon, this deck that I have so far. I think they're the trade because they got two sticks, and I think if their ability is to boom boom groove, they're gonna boom boom your pussy. They're gonna boom boom your bagus. Okay, they're gonna boom boom that good. So we're gonna call Thwackey the trade of the Pokemon cards. Let's put that one there. Okay, next. Chandelier. I love these names. They're so fun. 130 HP. What does HP stand for? Heffa pussy? Is that it? The ability is to allure light. Oh, wow. Okay. That's cool. It absorbs spirits which it then burns by waving the flames on its arms. It puts its foes in a hypnotic trance. Okay, it allures light. You know what? We need a chandelier. Oh, chandelier, right? Is that what it's kind of going for? It's a chandelier. I'm a fucking dumb bitch. So we need a little chandelier right now. A chandelier needs to come and like possess and like, take up our country. Yeah, the chandelier needs to bring some light. There needs to be let there be light. Chandelier. Okay? Chandelier is gonna do that for us. So keep a chandelier up your ass. Another one. What does it say? Hops Corvisquire. Anybody know this one? Person number 3 in the comments. If you know who Hops Corvisquire is. And what does HP stand for? Is that half a pussy points? Because this is a 90. And the Chandelier had 130. And the Trade Thwackery had 100. Speed Dive Razor Wing. Now this person, it's not really a person. Why is there a boy on the side now? Why is there a boy? This card, this is like, its talons, its feet, they're coming to get you. Meaning that they're probably going to rip through your puss. So my question is, I feel like the gays liked Pokemon because it allowed them to... Why do gays like Pokemon? Tell me about that one. I don't know why. A lot of gay guys do like Pokemon. A lot of my friends like... Ooh, one fell over here. Okay. Which one? I'm close my eyes and pick one. Okay. One more. Ooh. Asselgore. Well, that's like putting it out there. Asselgore. 100 half a pussy points. I don't know what what it stands for, but we're gonna go with it. I could probably look it up, but it's more fun to call it half a pussy points. If you know what it means, please drop it below. Ooh, Poisonous Ploy. Okay, your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused and poisoned. Switch this Pokemon with one of your benched Pokemon. Ooh. Okay, so Asselgore is like all the men that are on Grindr. Poisonous ploys. They're poisonous ploys. If you are an Asselgore, let me know below. Because Asselgores are, it looks like the Asselgores are like, yes. And look, they even have a little, it's like they're eating the fish up. So they're eating your pussy up. So basically the Asselgore are the men on Grindr. Poisonous ploys. So we did 4 today. I'm going to go through the rest of them the next episode because I think it'll be fun. Something lighthearted, something fun, right? Before we get really serious. Wipe my nose, I'm sorry. My allergies. Allergies. Okay. The last little tidbits before we go. Okay, the last little the last little tidbit is going to be, obviously, get me off my soapbox, because that's supposed to be like my branding for the show, which obviously I'm bad because I don't know. I need to be a little bit better at branding and a little bit better at like putting things together. I actually was going to talk about this article, which is like hella fucking fat, but I figured we can talk about this, re-theorizing the sexual minority closet, evidence from queer South Asian women. I thought it's a really cool paper by Sonali Patel. She also is an alumni from the University of British Columbia. So go Thunderbirds. I thought it was very cool because there's very few papers about South Asian queer people, let alone South Asian queer women. So maybe I should get Sonali Patel on the pod. So maybe that's something I'll think about. So let me get on my soapbox. Let me get on my soapbox, baby. You know what really fucking pisses me off right now? And it's really an extension, I feel like, of last week's whole rigmarole that I had with Joey. And if you haven't watched the episode, definitely go watch the episode from last week, or the last episode for season 2. Season 2's first episode. This is season 2's second episode. Where me and Joey go off about, well, I pretty much go off and Joey's like, yeah. I go off about the Protein Brothers, okay? So I got some protein bars, and I'm not going to name the names because, again, you never know what could become a sponsorship. But, not that they're going to sponsor me, right? But, here we are. They're going to sponsor some, like, Beavis Butthead guy who's, like, roided out and, like, who's just telling everyone, you know what actually really fucking, let me get on my soapbox. What really fucking pisses me off is when you see these fitness influencers, and again, it's not like I have any malice against the fitness influencers. It's just like when I see it, it's funny. So it's like, I shouldn't say it pisses me off. It's more so it's like funny because it's like knocking at a joke that I feel like most people probably relate to because I'm not just some mean cunt. I could be, but I'm not like all the time. It's when you go on their profile, right? You're on your phone. This is the phone. 4 inches of a phone. You go on your phone and you see their profile and it says like Joel Flores, okay? And I'm making the name up, but lately what I've been seeing in my queue, and it's probably because I have a problem, is I see a lot of like Latin Hispanic personal trainers. Also, it might be because I live in Southern California and there's just a higher proportion. So again, I'm not like judging anyone. I'm not like trying to call out anything to anyone. I don't want anyone to think that because people do think beyond their comprehension. But again, I have a platform, so I should make it clear, right? But Joel Flores, I'm making this shit up. Also, a lot of my friends are Latino, so I feel like when they repost things or they share it or they like it or they heart it, you see it right on your feed. That's how algorithms work. So Joel Flores, it'll be like, I help professional men working in their 30s get their bodies right. I help gay men figure out their lives and get their bodies right. I help queer men figure out their bodies and working class man, blah, blah, blah. So if somebody's not working class, if somebody's not professional, are you not going to personal train them? That's my fucking question because it makes me think that you have a high standard or something, as if being in a profession, a professional, what is professional anyway? Anything can be professional. Shoot, the fucking government's not professional. So what the fuck are we, right? What is it about professional men that you want to train? Do you want to get trained? I think you want to train from those professional men. Because most of these, let's just be fucking for real. Again, Joel Flores, I really hope there's not a Joel Flores personal trainer. But most of these personal trainers are sisters in disguise, right? Because what straight man wants to be around all those men all the time?
The girls who are wide open, the hungry girls.
Shoot, I'm bisexual and I sometimes don't even want to be around men all the time. So I feel for the women. But most of the time they're sisters. And again, some people say you should be nicer to like the closeted men. You should be nicer to the DL men, and it's like, no. Um, Long gone are those days where you have to be nice. I feel like we need to be true. We need to be real, and people who are gonna vote against your own interest, against your own community, against your own being, your own identity, your own living standards, shouldn't get any remorse from us. They're not showing us remorse, right? The other side's not showing any remorse, any empathy, right? Any understanding. So why the fuck should we? Let's play the game, right?
All right.
Michelle Obama said, "When they go low, we go high." I don't. I love Michelle Obama. I love her. I have a postcard from when I went to the National Library Museum of her, from her official portrait that they painted, and also President Obama. But I don't believe that in this instance right now. I believe that by being ourselves, we are going higher. So fuck the personal trainers, fuck the roided ass men, fuck the guys who are just talking shit, who are suckholing all of us over and all these people in to their little scheme of personal training. I'm not saying that personal training is a scheme, but the way they're alluring people in and then they're actively going against health and well-being. That's my biggest thing. And this is an extension from last week for people who didn't watch the episode last week. But essentially, I hate when people are, I'm a personal trainer. I'm going to get you fit. I'm going to get you healthy. I'm going to do this. Make sure you eat that. Make sure you eat this thing. Oh, eat that protein bar. Eat this. Right? And it's like, okay, but then they're going and voting for somebody against all the interests of everybody, right? They're voting for some agency to be led by some man who doesn't even have science background, right? Let's talk about that. What else gets me pissed off about this world that we live in, Soapbox right now, is the new nutritional pyramid. I don't know if folks have seen it. I'll put a little paste on it on the screen over here on the side. Um, but this nutritional period, period. This nutritional pyramid, and I'm going to open up a screenshot on my laptop so I can double check what it looks like again. The preface is eat real food, okay? Which is great, right? We should be eating more real food. I think a lot of our food obviously is processed. It's a lot of, there's a lot of garbage out there. But again, people are suffering, people are struggling, and what foods do you get when you're struggling economically, right? When you're working like 5 jobs or 3 jobs, or you can barely, you have 2 kids and you're trying to feed them. You're going to feed them the easiest route to feed them, right? Especially if SNAP doesn't exist anymore, food stamps don't exist. You can't really leisurely go outside and walk to the grocery store because you're scared that someone's going to kidnap you and pick you up, right? So the premise is eat real foods. The concept is to focus on protein, dairy, healthy fats, vegetables. They kind of got rid of this pyramid they inverted it essentially, right? So it's like large to bottom. And they didn't really make it so that one can see visually if, you're supposed to eat this much of this much. They kind of just lumped them all together, right? And there's a premise. The reason I'm saying this is the premise is that we should be eating more healthy fats, like using more pure fat food. And what I've seen now lately on the social media is on this little 8-inch screen is people going off and saying, yeah, you should eat butter, you should eat this, you should eat that, you could eat all these fats now, la 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 la. Like they're just sick in the head. And I am 100% all about moderation. I'm no dietitian, right? I am a biologist by training. I'm a public health professional by training. So I do understand the molecular things about what things are good, how things are bad. I understand science. I'm not an expert in it. By no means. I'm no expert. But I definitely know more than a lot of other people who claim they're experts, right? Who claim they're amazing experts when they just have some certification from NASA, right? So, or they're saying they're a nutritionist because, like, what the fuck is that, right? Like, what's a nutritionist? Like, you're either, in my eyes, you're a dietitian, an RDE, a registered dietitian. That's it. Like, what else is there to do? Like, dietitians actually know about the biological and medical infrastructure systems about how food interacts with people's diseases and their states, etc. Right? They're licensed to do it. They have to have a license to be a dietitian. Right? They've gone through rigorous school, and dietetics is not an easy subject to study. I know, because I wanted to be a dietitian at one point, and I thought, fuck it, I don't want to do this anymore. So they cite in their report, and I'll link the report below, which, I mean, nobody has to go check out, but they cite the focus is on real foods, but also what the fuck is real? When the shit you're selling to us right now is tainted, right? When the shit that you're putting out there in the world is bippity boppity boo, bogus, right? Is that supposed to make America healthy again? Right? Is that supposed to make America great? That's not supposed to make America great, right? You need to focus on actual solutions, right? Instead of telling people to eat one thing, which we know causes other health problems, right? If you're going to heavily eat red meat and you're going to heavily eat fat foods, what are you going to do to your body?
Yeah, you're trying to play games with the dolls. I wanted to.
You're going to increase your cholesterol potentially, right? Depends on your genetics. Again, everything is dependent on things. You're going to increase your risk for cardiovascular disease. And I know some people said there's a study that did a meta-analysis that said, and I'll link it down below, I think I still have it, that found that, actually eating beef is not that bad. It doesn't raise your risk for cardiovascular disease, blah, 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 right? If that's the case, then we would have been eating this from a very long time ago, right? We know that actually vegetarian diets are actually good for our heart, like overall, right? I mean, many cultures, many civilizations relied on vegetarian diets, right? I'm from one of those vegetarian diets. I'm not a vegetarian, but Indian people are predominantly vegetarian or vegan, right? The most of the diet in India is as such, right? And I mean, they're doing pretty fine. When I lived in India, when I visited India a couple of times in my life, I experienced, people living life very vicariously and just having a good time and enjoying their life, right? Not worried about all these things because the foods they're eating are also fresh, right? They're not harvested and put in these greenhouses. They're eating it from like their local farms, their local vicinities within like 40, 50 kilometers or 50 miles or whatever, right? So they cite something in this report which really pissed me off too. They said that 70% of Americans are overweight or obese. Now, that doesn't piss me off because technically those statistics are true. About 40% of the US adults are obese. And obese meaning that your BMI is, above, I think it's 30, right? I could be wrong. I should probably look this up. Now, they lumped all of it together, which is fine because you're trying to make like a big statement, right? You're trying to make like a hoo-ha sensation, right? Like ooh-la-la sensation, like a big picture, right? A ha-ha. But let's talk about the social determinants of health. What the fuck do you think is causing that? What the fuck do you think is causing the obesity? Huh? Did y'all bitches think about that, right? Did you all think about what causes it? Oh, well, the inadequate access of nutritious food, which now you're asking us to eat healthy, but you're asking us to eat these whole foods, which we know in large copious amounts is not actually good for you, right? You're not understanding that people have to work like a fucking dog. People have other responsibilities. They don't have access to walkable cities, right? They're reliant on cars, reliant on sitting in traffic for hours of the day, so they can't actually go walk and exercise. They don't have access to gyms. And I know people are going to be like, well, anybody can have access to exercise, just go home. Yeah, but you know what? Those people are the same people who eat on paper plates. They're the same people who eat on paper plates. Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever actually noticed, if you think about it, have you ever noticed that the personal trainers, the fitness gurus, the fitness influencers, they always eat their food on paper plates?
Hungry girls.
When they're telling you, yeah, dude, just eat your fucking food like this, just one chicken breast, some rice, and have a lot of vegetables. And it's on like one of
She's really good.
those fucking great value paper plates that's about to fucking concave down. Well, of course, dude, you can eat all that food. You're not fucking washing dishes. First of all, you're using paper plates, which is bad for the environment. So actually, it's bad for your health to keep on using that because you're polluting the world if we're going to talk about health, right? If we're going to talk about health and wellness. You have the free time. Time is of the value. Time is of the essence. Time is money, right? We know that, right? So what's not clicking in people's heads? Like, that's what pisses me off, because the fitness brothers, the fitness influencers, the girls too. I'm not coming only for the men. The women do this too. They'll eat their food on a fucking paper plate. What is up with this? Get a fucking glass plate. Do you not have money to buy glassware? Maybe you should start using your money that you're spending on protein powders that you shove up your ass on buying actual glassware. No, but that's too easy for them, right? That would be too fucking easy, Shane. Because then they'd have to wash those dishes, they'd have to put them away, because all of them live with their mamas, all of them will live with their daddies, all of them live with roommates. So like they don't actually have anything else going on for them. They propagate their fucking selfie stick and they go to the gym for 3 hours in a day. They don't have like actual life, right? So I rest my case. But here we are. So my last little go off before we wrap this episode up. If you're Indian, if you're Desi, if you're South Asian, please stand up for something.
Where my people at? Where my people at?
I'm asking as a fellow Indian person, asking with my two cheeks and my two tatas out, my hairy chest out, please stand up for something. Please stand up to this inequality we're facing. Please stand up to this injustice we're facing. Please say something. It's really alarming and also saddening to see people that I have in my life, in my social circles, in my families who are not standing up to say something against the atrocities that are happening to people that look like us in this country. I don't want to hear that you're scared. We're all scared, right? This is scary doing this, making this and posting this. This is scary. Every day is scary, but we have a lot of power and a lot of influence. Particularly because us Asian immigrants, us South Asian immigrants are privileged. We have a privilege. We have been, many of us, I'm not saying all of us, but I'm saying many of us have been through higher education, have had the opportunities to study things that maybe other people have not had the opportunity to study, have the opportunities such as a strong, maybe stable career, have, financial incentives and help from their parents, which people do not have. And we're in these places because our families and our parents, who are also of those backgrounds, helped us, put us on this earth and gave us those things. Whether we agree with everything our parents do, that's a whole other story. And I'll get into that another episode. But the fact of the matter is we have to assess our privilege and we have to speak up, right? Because most of y'all bitches, most of y'all Indian people across the screen who are listening, who are watching, who are whatever, share it with your Indian friends. Most of you guys have privileged careers. And yes, maybe saying something will cost your career or saying something could tarnish your career. But maybe that's not the career you should be in, right? Think about it. Think beyond what your parents told you to do. Because once you start thinking beyond that, you actually start to reckon with what's going on right now. And silence is an answer, and we will not be silenced. So please stand up. Fuck that whole administration. Fuck that whole entity, and fuck ICE. Until next time, I'm your host, Shane Lamba. Stay brown. Be as brown as you can be as beautiful as you can be as bodacious as you can be, and stand with each other, because the more we are together, the better our lives are going to be.